Hello. Happy Woke Wednesday. It's not really happy, but you get my point. Hello, Danette. Hi, friends. Welcome to Woke Wednesday. How are you? You know the routine. Tell me how you're feeling about this week in a emoji. Mine would be the emoji with red face and all of the cursing. That's how I'm feeling. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Charlita. Hi, Chloe678. Hello, and welcome. Tell me, guys, as people are funneling into the room, how you are feeling this week in an emoji. Let's see. I mean, it's been, I don't know, a week. We've had 2 mass shootings, 18 people are dead, an immigration crisis at the border. We have Democrats saying that they're not going to vote to end the filibuster. You know, just another day in the fuck show called America. So, welcome. Yeah, I like, see, head blown. Yeah, that's me. I gotta tell you that each week I sit down, I get my book, I start to put my notes together. You know, I'm asked at the beginning of the week, what do you want to talk about? Like, what do you think you want to focus on? And, you know, obviously, at the beginning of the week, I thought to myself, we will focus on the shooting in Atlanta because, you know, it had just happened. And then, lo and behold, here we are, a couple of days fucking later, and another fucking shooting happens. My anger level is not in a safe place. And here's the reason why. Because the depiction that the media has of these shootings and the conversations that we continue to have each and every time one of these mass shootings happen, leave me wanting to scream a primal scream from my fucking toes. And the reason being, we know nothing is going to happen. We know that the freedom to be able to walk into a store and buy an AR-15 and shoot up a massage parlor, a grocery store, a school, a church, a movie theater, a playground, those people have more rights than you and I. Let's just be very clear about that. That even though we have a Democratic majority in the Senate, that Joe Manchin, that piece of fucking shit, senator from West Virginia, has come out and said that he is not going to vote for the House's bill, right, which wanted to strengthen background checks. And let me just say, before I even go on down this road, let me just say this. Even the measures that the House has put into place and has passed for gun reform isn't a fucking enough. It's not, right? It's some basic ass shit. It is not comprehensive. It is not enough. Do you understand that we are the only fucking like industrialized, wealthy nation where our going back to normal is us adjusting back to the fact that mass shootings are just a thing in America that we all need to get used to? That in other countries like Australia and New Zealand, that when they had their first mass shootings, that they banned assault rifles, that they banned magazine clips, that they banned a whole bunch of shit so that everyday citizens could feel safe in their own fucking country, going about their day-to-day routines without thinking that they're gonna get their fucking head blown off? Every other country has taken those measures. Not America, though. No. In America, what we do, what Republicans do, are pass 253 voting suppression laws in order to heal a problem that they've made up and doesn't actually fucking exist, right? So they passed 253 pieces of legislation to stop black and brown people from voting because they say voter fraud is a thing, right? Which it's not. And all of the election commissions and election investigations into 2020 and into 2016 have said the same thing. There is no there in terms of voter fraud. Republicans will act on an imaginary problem, but on a fucking real problem, like people being murdered in a grocery store or in a massage parlor or in their schools or in a church or a mosque or a synagogue, actual problems they don't want to do dick about. Right? So what we can surmise by Republicans' inaction is this, that the day, right? The day when Congress could not manage to lift a single solitary finger in response to first graders and kindergartners being murdered in their fucking classroom, we lost the gun debate. We were done. I remember Barack Obama coming to near tears at the interfaith session that was held after Newtown. And in that interfaith session that was held, he talked about the need for gun control. And I thought to myself, there's no way that these members of Congress are going to look at the faces of these families who lost 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and say to them, such is luck, you should have given them a bulletproof backpack. But here we are, years removed from Newtown, we've done dick. And as a matter of fact, I want to bring up this really salient point. It's been 22 years since Columbine. 22. It was April 1999 when Columbine happened, when high schoolers marched in with assault rifles and gunned down their classmates. 22 years. Do you know how old each of the shooters in Atlanta and in Colorado are? 21. 21 years old. We have done absolutely nothing in the course of their entire lives. We could have stopped the timeline of tragedy and destruction in these places if we had taken any action over the last 22 years. But the NRA, other gun lobbies, but them being the strongest, have said, no, we don't give a fuck about Americans. We don't give a fuck about children. Instead of us taking action on gun control, do you know what we have done? Instead of doing fire drills, which you did and I did when we were in elementary school and high school, now we have our children do mass shooting drills. We have put the onus on children, right? For them to be able to manage their way through crisis instead of us actually diverting crisis from happening to them. We are a nation that says if you are in the womb, right? This country, in their religiosity, cares abundantly about you. But the moment that you are pushed through and are breathing air, we're like, you're on your fucking own, right? That's what we do in America. So 22 years after Columbine, 21-year-olds who are now a part of the mass shooting generation, because that's what they are. This is the mass shooting generation. This is the generation where the norm of seeing headlines of mass shooting after mass shooting is just a part of everyday life of what it means to live in America. But for those of us who remember pre-1999, I remember waking up that day and thinking to myself, holy shit. Holy shit. America has to do something. That was when I was young and naive, and I thought that our politicians gave a fuck about us. There have been, folks, well over 300 mass shootings since 1999. Do you know how many deaths that is? How many bodies that is? Including those of children? And we have politicians today, 7 days between 2 mass shootings that took out 18 people, you have Joe Manchin saying, yeah, I'm not going to vote for that House bill. I would rather some toothless bullshit version that we couldn't get passed during Newtown. I'd rather run with that. 90% of Americans believe that we need gun fucking reform. 90%. 90% believe that we need expanded background checks. 90% believe that we need to get rid of assault rifles. But the NRA, who fucking funnels money into these motherfuckers' pockets and into their campaigns, says otherwise, so they do otherwise. Understand that it is money that is the motivator here, not death. Not the sadness, not the tragedy, not the grief, not the anxiety, none of it. It is fucking money. I say this all the time on Woke AF. Follow the fucking money and you understand why people vote the way that they fucking do in Congress, right? It's not that hard to figure out. We have members right the fuck now in the House of Representatives that, oh my God, see, I had to stop myself because I'm a feminist and I try when I get angry not to call other women the B word, but this woman really is a bitch, right? So I'm not just talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene's fucking crazy ass. I'm also talking about the member from Colorado, the state that now has had multiple mass shootings that have led them into the spotlight, right? Laura is her name. What's her name? Laura Boebert. Laura Boebert. The one who likes to carry a 9mm gun on her hip. The one who ran a video but a couple of weeks ago with multiple assault rifles behind her, right? As some type of what? White ISIS type bullshit? Because that's what the fuck it looked like to me. And this bitch is in Congress. The people of Colorado put her there. She has a restaurant where you, the waitresses, walk around with guns on their fucking hips. And we want to know why we have a mass shooting problem in the United States? Are you dumb? When you have members, senators, Ted Cruz, what did he do? He cooked bacon on an AR-15. Imagine how small that man's dick must be for him to think that that was a good idea. That was his show of masculinity. Bitch, sit down, okay? Sit the fuck down. I am exhausted by America's consistent fuckery. And I know, and I tell you this all the time, that exhaustion is actually the point, right? It is actually the fucking point. The point is to make us feel hopeless and miserable and like we cannot move forward. And the fact is that every time we have one of these mass shootings, the media acts shocked and surprised. And then we go through the same narrative all the time instead of just connecting the fucking dots. So here's some hot shit that happened to me yesterday on Twitter. And I promptly, and let me just let people know, block is about self-care. I will block you with the fucking quickness, okay? And so this Christian, white Christian motherfucker decided to come at me on Twitter because in the initial reports of the Colorado shooting, the assumption was motherfucker was white, right? Which technically, if you want to talk about Caucasian versus this, that, and the other thing, we can still have that conversation nonetheless. So with the Atlanta shooting, I'm talking about white supremacy. And I'm talking about how about you pull the fucking records of the last 10, 15, 20 shootings and tell me who the fucking suspects were. How about you do that, right? Because I'll tell you that the majority of them are white fucking men between the ages of 21 and 55. That's who the fuck they are. So when we talk about having a white rage, a white violence problem in America, that shit is fucking real. But we don't want to have those conversations. We want to treat all of these individual lone wolves as if they're not part of the biggest system of white supremacy, right? Like that's That's what we want to do. We want to believe that what happened in Atlanta has nothing to do with misogynoir, has nothing to do with the fetishization of Asian women, has nothing to do with the projection of white supremacy into sexual fantasy that then had this man go out and kill these women and then want to be able to dictate the narrative to police to tell us, oh, it's not a hate crime. And by the way, how much fucking sense does it make that we allow white people to tell us what the fuck a hate crime is, other than the people that are the victims of said hate crime? So it's okay then that this motherfucker has a sexual addiction, as he labeled it, right? And because the media has no fucking nuance and can't walk and chew gum at the same time, can't have complex conversations because they're too busy operating in soundbite world, right? Instead of giving substance, they want to say, oh, well, it wasn't a hate crime, so we can all move on. Motherfucker, 6 Asian women were murdered, okay? You talk to the Asian American community, the AIPI community here, and you let them tell you what the fuck they have been feeling over the past fucking year. And then you want to decouple it because you think that that is going to make us feel better? Ignorance is not bliss, okay? Not in these United States. It is not. It is fucking dangerous. And the perpetuation that we continue to have where we allow white violent criminals to dictate the fucking narrative. And then let me just pause for a second. Sheriff J. Baker from the Cherokee County, right? The Cherokee County officer, the one who last week told us that Robert Aaron Long, the white supremacist shooter, had a bad day. Come to find out that motherfucker was on social media with his China virus t-shirt. But these are the people that are going to dictate to us whether or not something was a hate crime, and you're a fucking racist? Let me tell you something about the rot that is inside this country. It is sheriffs like Jay Baker that have us say things like abolish the police, right? That have us talk about abolition because the rot is so fucking deep in this law enforcement. This isn't about motherfucking training. This isn't about cultural motherfucking competency. These motherfuckers know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're saying, right? Joe Biden asked the other day, he said, whatever happened to that investigation, into the social media, Facebook groups of acting and then retired police officers who were in chat groups, making little jokes, what they called, what do Republicans call it? Locker room talk. When you use misogyny and rape jokes and racism and jokes about lynching and all of that shit. President Biden said, to the FBI, so what happened with that investigation? And pretty much the response was something along the fact that the dog ate my homework and maybe I'll get back to you. Since 2006, reports have been coming out and investigations have been done into the infiltration of our law enforcement by white supremacist groups. But we want to act shocked at the Sheriff Jay Bakers of the world when they want to tell us that another white man who shot up a bunch of people had a bad day. I have bad days all the fucking time. Imagine being black and queer and a woman in America. I haven't shot anybody. Nope, haven't. Haven't even cursed anybody out, except on here, right? I don't have the agency and the ability to just, pop off whenever the fuck I want. Because I can barely walk down the fucking street without, being pinned up against the wall or being assumed, right, that I'm a criminal just because, what? My skin is dark? But this guy, no, taken alive. So I want to talk to you about the narrative shift that happened on social media when we were alerted to the ethnicity of the Colorado shooter. When all of a sudden it wasn't Robert Aaron Long, it wasn't that, it was Ahmad al-Alawi Alisa. Then all of a sudden on Twitter, the hashtag he's a Muslim started trending. I don't remember the hashtag he's a motherfucking white violent piece of shit trending last week. I don't remember anybody posting up Ahmad's fucking prom picture, right? and wanted to talk about, well, he was such a good boy. He was such a lovely guy. We're still waiting on the full charges in the Robert Aaron Long case. Meanwhile, bitch in Colorado already been charged with 10 counts of murder and is heading to court. What's going on in Atlanta? Anyone know? Anyone know? Interesting. Here's what we have to understand, is that if you're a murderer, you are a fucking murderer. But you should be treated like a murderer. You shouldn't be treated with fucking kid fucking gloves because you're a white murderer, right? And that's the thing, is that when we talk about justice and we say that we need justice, right? We're not asking for white people to be treated as bad as black people and brown people are by our criminal justice system. No, we are asking to be treated with equity. So if you are going to post that motherfucker's prom picture, tell me why you didn't post Trayvon Martin's. Tell me why you didn't find a lovely, light, and warm picture of George Floyd, right? But America's rush to want to humanize white murderers is on another fucking level. I swear to God, I have never in my life, there can't possibly be another country that you can go to where you would then halfway through a news report about a mass murder, learn about the fucking hobbies of the man who slaughtered people in cold blood. But I could fucking tell you what Robert Aaron Long's fucking hobbies were. Why do I give a fuck? Why does anyone? But this is what white supremacy does, right? They don't believe in patterns. They don't see patterns. They want to project pathologies onto every other community, but not have any type of internal reflection on what the fuck is going on in white America that keeps producing these rage-filled fucking white murderers. Right? We don't want to do that. If it was a stream of black and brown people, I guarantee you the reports would have been about how black and brown mothers have failed their sons. Have you ever seen a report about how white mothers have failed their white sons who have turned into murderers and insurrectionists? Have you heard of any analysis into understanding what is going wrong with the upbringing of white men to create such violent creatures? But I guarantee you that if the shoe was on the other foot, you know exactly what the fuck they would be saying. So miss me with the bullshit. Miss me with the, oh, well, he's a Muslim, Danielle, so we can't have a conversation about white supremacy. Miss me with the, oh, well, this shooter wasn't white, and so your entire thesis is now null and void. Bitch, go back in time. Look at a fucking timeline. Look at a map. Pull the mugshots and tell me something different. Don't you look at yesterday and the day before and think that you're going to give me a dissertation on white supremacy. Fuck you. Okay? I'm not here for it. You know, I have to tell you that America is trying the fuck out of us, right? Not just me, not just you, all of us. America is trying the fuck out of us. Every day, it is something else. You know, whether it is Kim Jong-un doing tests in North Korea, missile tests, because that happened this week. Whether it is, you know, us finally getting inside Donald Trump's concentration camps where children have been held well over the time that they should be held, right? In these facilities, right? We're finally getting an eye shot into that. And of course, you know what the media will do? They've been blaming Joe Biden about transparency. And I'm like, bitch, where the fuck were you in the last 4 years? Because let me tell you something. If I were the press secretary, which nobody would ever make me White House press secretary, but if I was, I would say, checks notes. Where were you a year ago? Where were you 2 years ago? Where were you when these were established? Where were you when the Trump administration stopped doing White House briefings? So you want to talk to me about transparency 60 days into our administration? How about I ask you where your transparency was and your journalistic integrity was over the last 4 fucking years? Of the softball bullshit that you would offer up to Donald Trump. Miss me with it. All I'm saying is that everyone needs to have a long-term memory in America, okay? A long-term memory. Not the kind of nap type of shit that we usually have. I cannot express enough. What we are seeing is the complete and total deterioration of our democracy. What we are seeing is a complete and total failure of our systems. Whether it is the criminal justice system, our healthcare system, our education system, our environmental infrastructure, our actual infrastructure, everything in America is fucking crumbling. And there is only one party to blame for all of it. One party, and then the two fucking Democrats, Sinema in Arizona and fucking Manchin in West Virginia, that are the ones that stop us from getting anything done. We're not going to expand voting rights without getting rid of the filibuster. Which, by the way, Joe Manchin said today, no, he wants to keep that racist institution intact. Because we're getting 60 votes on what exactly? 10 Republicans are crossing what aisle to do anything for the American people? 4 years in total control and they did dick. They offered up nothing. Tell me what piece of important legislation Mitch McConnell offered up for debate over the last 4 years. Think about it. I'll give you a minute. Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? No. There was nothing that they offered. Nothing. 10 years after trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act and telling us every 2 weeks that their plan was coming, we're still waiting. Right? We have the Voting Rights Act coming up. We have gun violence to deal with in this country. We have immigration, which has been kicked so far down the fucking line, we probably won't see that shit happen, not in our fucking lifetimes. So tell me what the importance of the filibuster is when there is no collaboration and cooperation that's been happening in Congress for the last several years. And then Mitch McConnell's mealy-mouthed motherfucker wants to offer up that he's gonna go nuclear. Bitch, it's already been destroyed. America already in ashes. Blow it up. I don't give a fuck. What else you gonna do? I'm tired of Democrats reacting. We need to move from a place of reaction to proactivity, right? People gave you power and the gavel for a fucking reason. Not to give, as Schumer said, Republicans a chance to do the right thing. Bitch, what? How many times do people have to show you who the fuck they are before you stop giving motherfuckers chances? Right? They treat Republicans like the broke-ass motherfucker that you should have dropped, that you stayed dating, that all your friends said ain't shit, but you want to still see the good in them, but they keep showing you that they ain't shit. That's the Republican Party. They are a party of fuckboys and fuck women. That's who the fuck they are. And all they have ever done is string America along into thinking that they're going to do something of merit. And they fucking don't. Point being is this. We're not in a good place. Okay? So if you feel crazy, if you feel off the fucking chain like I do on a regular goddamn basis, just know that you are not alone. I do Woke Wednesdays. Why? So that you can see that other people care and are just as pissed off as you are. So if you find yourself at home screaming at the TV, screaming at cable news, or going off on Twitter, know that this is your safe space each and every Wednesday. Because the only way that we getting through this shit is together. But I'm telling you, it's a lot of shit to get through. So get your overalls, get the overall boots, because we wading through the fucking sewer for a long time before we start to smell something right. Okay? Also, quickly, before I head out, Donald Trump is going to be indicted soon. I just want to be the first one to offer this to you. Donald Trump is going to be indicted. The shit that they are unearthing, from Fulton County in Georgia to here in New York where I am, it ain't great. Also, Sidney Powell, his attorney, that is being charged with defamation by the Dominion voting group. She's being, it's $1.3 billion. They are going to bankrupt the fuck out of that woman. And also, her defense is, I lied because I'm a liar and no one should believe me anyway. Make it make sense, honestly. But Donald Trump, yeah, friends, on that good day, we are drinking all day, maybe for days. Maybe we'll go into a like cheers, like a fucking bender, right? Just to get it out. All right, dear friends, that is it for me today on this wonderful Woke Wednesday. As always, if you like what you see here, head over to patreon.com/wokeaf. $5 a month gets you 5 one-hour shows 5 days a week. That's $5 a month to support an independent Black voice like mine. So head to patreon.com/wokeaf. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take deep breaths, meditate, have a cocktail, go out and garden. The weather is getting better. Do not let these people beat you into the ground. That is what they want to do. That is what they are trying to do. And you know how I battle against white supremacy? I told one of my guests this the other day. I work out. I'm like, I'm gonna be the healthiest fucking Black lesbian these motherfuckers have ever seen, because you ain't gonna try me. No, you are not. No, you are not, because I'm going to stay fit and mentally capable. And so should all of you. All right, friends. Share Woke Wednesdays with your people. See you next week or on patreon.com/wokeaf. Power to the people and to all the people power. Get woke and stay woke as fuck.